Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide, with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time, to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the Allies, Arrowhead Allies.
Oh,
Yes, sir!
Yep.
Kingdom! It's September. NFL football is in the air, and a young man's fancy turns to Kansas City Chiefs football. We got the home opener just 48 hours away, and Arrowhead Stadium is going to be rocking. Are you with me?
God, Shane, they call me Mr. Electricity, and I could not have brought it any better than that. I'm loving this. The Allies are here, all five of us. It's here. It's on. Good to have everybody back. Brian be shining back in the house here. It's week 2. It's a short turnaround, and we got a short turnaround for you, buddy. Good to have you back. How's everything going, my man?
Everything is A-okay. It's great. Those Chiefs, man, they looking unstoppable in Arizona. I don't know if it's the dry desert or whatever. Patrick Mahomes looks like the leading MVP candidate to me, fellas. And that young defense, woo, they were running and gunning. I can't wait to dig in.
Yeah, man, I'm real excited, man. The Chiefs look exactly like we thought they would look, man. They look amazing. Dealing with a couple injuries, but this team is ready to go. And Chargers have to come to Arrowhead. It's going to be amazing Thursday night.
Yeah, Mykell, you are exporting your Los Angeles Chargers there. I don't say your Los Angeles Chargers. You live in LA. You're sending the Chargers to us on Thursday night. Quick turnaround. And I guess let's just get right into it because we have a good question here. And Mykell, I'm going to send this question to you. This is from Jim Daniels. Love the show, guys. How nervous, confident are we for Thursday? Just how big is this game? And I think that's a good question because we think about early season games. I called week 1 a must win. Fair or unfair, with the way the schedule played out, with what we have in front of us, I was like, you got to win this game. So now Thursday night, Chargers 1-0, Chiefs 1-0, the soul of the AFC West to me on the line. Mykell, how big is it on Thursday? How nervous or confident are you coming into this?
Man, I think it's a really big game just because, you want to have that division win. But, the Chargers beat us early last year and we were able to come back later in the season. But I think with our schedule being so tough that the Chiefs want to take care of business this Thursday, especially with them being at home. And I'm not too nervous. The Chiefs showed me a lot. I know we're going to be without Trent McDuffie and possibly without Harrison Butker, but I think that offense is ready to go. The defense is flying around the ball. And without Keenan Allen being able to play, I think that's a big, big loss. And talking with Coach Staley over there today, J.C. Jackson is 50-50. So it's looking more likely that he won't play. So it's just key guys that the Chargers are going to be without. And without having Keenan Allen, that go-to guy for first downs and a lot of those big plays, I think that's going to hurt them a lot.
Do the Chargers know that you're a mole, Mykell? Do the Chargers know this?
Hey,
I'm not telling them.
I don't think so. But if one of the players, like one of my posts and check out everything I'm doing when it comes to Arrowhead Allies, then they'll know.
Well, Mykell, you seem ready for Thursday night. You seem confident in the Chiefs coming out on top. And I'm confident as well. And it's because of a sign that I saw at the Arizona game. And it just kind of summarizes everything that we're feeling here, everything that Chiefs Kingdom is feeling. So let's take a look at it. I mean, you just can't disagree with that. Chiefs are good. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself right there.
We need to get her on this show. That's the analysis that we need right now, guys.
Definitely.
That's all you need to know.
Well, coming into this game, folks, let's look at this in the total landscape of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is 1-3 at Arrowhead Stadium against the Los Angeles Chargers since Patrick LeVon Mahomes II has been the starting quarterback. And I know people might be saying, hold on, Shaggy, we had to rest him. We had to rest him in 2020 when we had home field clinched. But his first loss was a tough one. His first loss at Arrowhead Stadium, let me see. It was 4 days after the Chiefs beat Baltimore. And let me guess, it was a Thursday night. The Chiefs had the game won 28-14. Phillip Rivers goes down the field, and he had a slew of injuries. They were down to their third string running back, and Mike Williams killed us. They got a touchdown to pull within 7. The Chiefs, all they had to do was get a couple first downs, and the ball game's over. They didn't. Patrick Mahomes took a big sack. We punted the football away. Mike Williams was the man on the touchdown and the 2-point conversion with 3 seconds left. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but you know this is going on in the mindset of your Kansas City Chiefs. Those players that were there, Andy Reid and the coaches, not to mention, as I mentioned, Patrick Mahomes has lost his last 2 at home to Justin Herbert. So they got to be saying, this is a statement game. Yes, it's week 2, but we lost to them in heartbreaking fashion on a Thursday night in 2018. We've lost to them since they've went to Justin Herbert at this stadium. This is another statement game. Yes, it's AFC West, but you win this game, you got 10 days to prepare for a up in the air Colts team, and you put a statement on the AFC.
Not going 14-3, by the way.
What's that?
Yeah, Colts are.
I said Colts not going 14-3. By the way, I'm going to avoid. I get to avoid that Coldplay concert, so that's good. We already know that.
But to my point, this has to be resonating in the freaking locker room. They gotta smell. Hey, we're tired of the Chargers winning the last 2 times in here, and we definitely remember what happened on Thursday night in 2018. What do you say, B. Shining? What do you say?
Man, I couldn't have said it any better, Shaggy Shane. I didn't expect the Chargers to be the biggest thorn in the side of Andy Reid, but they have. He's dominated the Broncos. He's done very well against the Raiders. But these Chargers somehow, ever since his first year when they swept Andy Reid, they have been a thorn in his side, and I completely don't get it because the Chargers, I can speak for everybody. They're the little brothers of the AFC West. Right. We hate the Raiders and the Broncos way more than the Chargers. But with that being said, listen, statement game. You said it right. I think that the Chiefs steamrolled the Cardinals on purpose just so they could get in tune and send a message to everybody that we're not playing around this year. Patrick Mahomes is on a mission. You saw what was happening, spreading the ball around. Juju had 8 targets. Kelsey, 9 targets. MVS got in there. Mykell was in there at 3rd. I think he had 6 targets himself. By the way, Mykell loved the way that they used him in that offensive set this past weekend. They couldn't have used him much better than that. I think that is Mykell at his finest, is doing the gadget plays, doing those short routes, maybe hitting the slot a little bit. That using Mykell like that could be very dangerous. But with that being said, you got MVS out there catching a couple of targets. If it wasn't for Juju fumbling, the Chiefs would have put a 50 burger up against Arizona. Right. So the Chargers do pose a threat with their defensive backs. They were balling against the Raiders, although Devontae Adams was eating. Those guys are balling. Surtain was not Surtain. The other second-year player,
Jr.
Asante Samuel Jr. I'm sorry, my bad. I get the old players with kids mixed up a lot. But yeah, you saw Asante Samuel's going at it with Devontae Adams. So those guys in that back end and the defensive backfield is going to be tough against the Chargers. But with McDuffie being out for us, it's kind of a arms race because now Keenan Allen is out. And so you kind of even out a little bit right there. So the Chiefs know how big this game is. And how about this with the cherry on top, fellas? If you take a look at the Chiefs' Instagram or you take a look at their Twitter, and you'll see that the original Arrowhead end zones are coming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The juice is going to be in the building. GEHA Field is going to be electric Thursday. I don't see the Chargers winning.
Well, Brian, you mentioned that there with Jalen Watson. I mean, that he's going to have to play because Trent McDuffie's down. I mean, Mykell, you mentioned that Keenan Allen's going to be down. So let's take a look at some of the injuries we're dealing with. Andy Reid had a long quote. I won't read it all, but basically he's blaming the field there at Arizona, the turf. They resodded with new sod. It can come loose. And so we've got Trent McDuffie on IR for at least 4 weeks. So Jalen Watson's really going to have to step up. Joshua Williams may get some playing time. Harrison Butker did not practice today with an ankle. Trey Smith was limited in practice with an ankle. And so the Chiefs bring in this new kicker. Here's a slide I'm going to go to. Matt Amendola. We're not sure if Harrison is going to go or not. We'll see how he kind of progresses through practice tomorrow, and then the game's Thursday night. Matt Amendola, anything from 39 and under, he seems to be really on target with, perfect. 40 and longer, he struggles. He's only 68%, as long as 49 yards. So we could see the Chiefs going for it more on fourth down, kind of implementing a Chargers-Ravens philosophy here, going for it on fourth down.
Just go with Justin Reed. Anything above 49, he can't hit. Justin Reed look like he can hit a 50-yarder.
If he can keep it straight, we saw one extra point that got away from him there.
Yeah. I'm really excited, Clint, just with the running game, like the running backs, what they showed in this opener for the Chiefs. That's what the Chargers struggled with last year. Josh Jacobs was able to do some things. I hated the Raiders just decided to go everything Adams, which kind of killed what they were doing. But I think our running game is going to be very impactful. Clyde had his 10 touches, 74 yards. You have Pacheco, who came in and closed the game. Jerick McKinnon, who did his thing, man. I told you guys last time, the screen pass game is going to be crazy, and that's exactly what you saw. I think that's going to be the X factor going into this game, the running backs. Like I've been saying it all offseason. This is the year that Clyde glides to a big year, and so far so good. And I think this Thursday is really going to be that wake-up call for the league that Clyde is here.
Hitting Clyde out of the backfield is something we've been waiting for him to call the last couple years. I don't know if Andy Reid just wasn't calling that with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but that's where he was, the bomb coming out of LSU. Man, just hit him out of the backfield, and as soon as he caught the first pass out of the backfield, I think it was only 417 yards, but I went, yes! And it was a sign of the things to come. Remember, on 4th and goal, when we were up 14-7, they weren't marching Justin Reid out there to kick a field goal. They went for it. And who did he hit out of the backfield? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's going to be huge to have him as an added weapon to this whole mysterious onslaught in 2022 with your Kansas City Chiefs.
Guys, I fought against it. I said, I don't like this running back group. You've got Isaiah Pacheco came in, led the team in rushing with 62 yards. But guys, an added dimension in this game. It seemed like we saw what Patrick Mahomes is. We know what he is. 30 of 39, 360 yards and 5 touchdowns. But did you see the nuances? There was a couple little nuances here in this game, a couple little rainbow touch passes that we hadn't really seen in the arsenal employed yet. The touchdown to Jody Fortson, where it's like he was almost going off of his back foot, very Aaron Rodgers-esque, rainbowed it just to the spot where Jody Fortson could get to it. That's an added dimension here. Mahomes working all offseason with Bobby Stroup, working with these wide receivers. It showed early and often. There was no rustiness. There was no Packers week one not having a clue what we're doing here. Brian, you see what I'm talking about? You got it. Yeah. Take it from here. What you agree, man? What's up?
So the quarterbacks who didn't play in the preseason, guess their record. Everybody guessed their record.
Was it good?
0-1.
No, 0-2 at least.
Was it 0-1? 0-1?
It was 3-8.
3-8. Wow.
3-8. Preseason counts. A lot of those games out there, guys, it looked like preseason game 4.
Yep.
It looked like that for the Cardinals to me. And the Chiefs look like exactly. Broncos definitely. Oh, let's not. I know we're gonna hit that. I cannot. I'm salivating to get into that conversation about Denver. I cannot wait. But with that being said, Clyde looked. Oh, that was LSU Clyde out there, y'all.
Yeah,
man, I agree.
That was week 1 versus the Texans in 2020 Clyde. Because that was the only game where I seen him, remember him like really causing a lot of damage. Well, he did do well in the Pittsburgh game last year in the playoffs. But Clyde looked very good. And that offense, man, that the running game, steamrolling. Pacheco got him a tutty. He cashed in. The thing I wanted to point out, though, Clint, was the 3 tight end sets.
Yeah.
Ooh, the 3 tight end sets. How about that? Jody Fortson, of course, he got him a tutty. Every time he catches the ball, he gets a touchdown. He's like Chris Carter with the Eagles. He does nothing but catch touchdowns, baby. But the 3 tight end sets, with them being able to run the ball how they did, they were hitting the edge in the run game. You saw Travis Kelce hitting those edge blocks and sealing that edge and making sure that that Clyde could get outside. You saw a lot of that going on. And Shout out to those who think that Travis Kelce can't block, because we got tape on Travis that shows that he can get down. He can get his hands inside, baby. But the 3 tight end sets is going to be something different and something dangerous that the Chiefs are going to be able to do, especially with an offensive line that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I love seeing that implemented. And Clint, you went on and on about Patrick Mahomes and what we saw from him. Unfortunately, that was only good enough to make 8th on PFF's highest rated quarterbacks in week 1. 71.5 is their grading system, wherever that comes from. It's just this magical land that no one knows how they come up with it, but they threw it out there. He's 8th. And so, Mykell, I just want to get your thoughts on this. And how in the world is Ryan Tannehill above him? We've already had Brian Bishanen say that he's gone here in a couple of weeks. They're moving on. But no, he's ranked 3rd here, and Patrick Mahomes is 8th on PFF's graded quarterbacks in week 1.
So everyone out there that's listening, that's viewing, just know that PFF is the thing you don't want to listen to and follow. It is terrible. I don't know how they come up with it. Like I was reading one of the people that work for them saying that, yeah, we didn't really look at his 2 touchdown passes to an open running back as something. It's a touchdown. What are we talking about here? There are points being added to the board. Like, I don't know where PFF gets their knowledge or what they're looking at. For Patrick Mahomes not to be number 1, to go 30 for 39, to have 300 plus yards and 5 touchdowns in a win when no one thought the offense would be any good without Tyreek Hill. PFF, I'm never listening to you. I'm moving it out the way, man.
Hey, slam that door.
Fair enough. Shane, you brought up some good history here. I want to go to some more, guys, as we keep it going here, talking about the Chargers. All time, man, Chiefs lead this series 64, 58, and 1. Shane, I know you got a tie predicted for this season, so maybe we'll see that on Thursday. We talked about Andy Reid. He's 13-5 against the Chargers, though, 2 of those being where we rested the starters. We did that again in 2013. Chase Daniel actually should have won that game there, and I think it went to overtime. Yeah, absolutely. The Chargers' last division title, guys, 2009. But hey, let's just hand it to them anyway. We just give away championships here, right, before the season starts. Chiefs did win 9 straight from 14 to 18. So, we have some history here that is definitely on our side. And Shane, you brought up some of the bad moments there. There's been some good ones as well, including but not limiting to going to Los Angeles to SoFi Stadium last year when you absolutely had to have it in December to win that game and to take control of the AFC West and never look back. And people want to talk about this division. It's 50-50. It's one way or the other. The Chiefs won the division by 3 games, wasn't it, last year, right? So, I mean, the Chargers have their chance. They're right there. They can do this, but they got to come to Arrowhead and they got to do it. We got to see it happen. As Patrick Mahomes says, Shaggy Shane, I'll see it when I believe it.
That's exactly what he says, and he has said it. But the Chiefs and Chargers, even though Andy Reid's 14-8 or 13-8 against them, since he has been a Chiefs head coach, the games are so tough.
They are.
They're tough. The Chiefs, yes, Patrick Mahomes is 2-0 in SoFi Stadium, but both games went to overtime. But still, Patrick Mahomes was Patrick in overtime. And last year, that was an epic game in overtime. It took the Chargers going for they turned down 9 points because they kept going for it on 4th and goal, which led it to overtime. The Chiefs are the better team. Let's make no mistake. People might be saying, "Hold on, Shaggy, you're being a little too negative." No, I'm just calling it like I see it. The Chiefs and Chargers play. They go back and forth. It's going to, for some reason, they go right down to the wire. And since the games have been so close, the Chiefs have to be on all their P's and Q's. Our rookie cornerbacks, this in 48 hours, those rookie cornerbacks have got to be solid, especially if Spagnuolo is blitzing L'Jarius Sneed. Then he's going to have Fenton. Then he's going to have Watson and
Williams
on the other side. So these kids, they're going to have their they're going to get a lot of experience. And like I said last week on the show, on the prediction show, I know Brian wasn't here, but I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. These kids are going to learn by making mistakes. Like I said, Kevin Ross and Albert Lewis learned in the early 80s by making mistakes. They ended up being leaders and being a part of a great secondary, and were leaders when they ended up drafting Dale Carter in the first round in 1992. Dale Carter got to come in, the hot shot number 1 draft pick, and he had 2 great leaders with him, and he really didn't miss a beat as a rookie, but Dale Carter even had to learn. But long story short, these secondaries will make a mistake. There's going to be mistakes made, but the leaders got to lead, and the coaching staff has to help mentor them. So when they're back on the field, that mistake is forgotten and they can look forward. It's going to be a hell of a game Thursday night. I love the Chiefs, and I expect the Chiefs to win, not a tie.
I know the Chargers have a solid offensive line, but this is going to have to be a game where Chris Jones comes and earns his money. Not saying that he doesn't, but what I'm saying is he's going to have to be the anchor of the defense, because those guys are going to have to get there. They're going to get to Herbert. They got to disrupt him. They have to throw him off his timing. They have to throw the receivers off the routes the cornerbacks do. But I need to see more Karlaftis too. 56 wasn't in there enough for me. I saw too much of Dana in there. Although he played, well, he was okay. But I wanted to see more 56, man. But him, Frank Clark, they're going to have to get after that quarterback. They're going to get after Herbert. Tough task with the Chargers O-line. And that'll help out those young guys so they won't have to cover that long on the back end. Another thing, I can't go back as far as you, Shaggy, with Dale Carter. That was when I was just getting into the Chiefs, when I was 6-7 years old.
Yeah,
we love Dale Carter. But I can go back to 2008. Let's go there, where Herm Edwards put those young guys out, Brandon Carr and Brandon Flowers. And sharks are born in the water, fellas. You got to throw these young guys out there. I am a big believer in throwing the young guys out there, getting that playing experience and learning. They have to learn on the field. You can only learn so much in practice and going against plays that you've seen, going against a quarterback whose tendencies going to be against receivers that you've seen on tape that you've been going in and out against for a couple of months now since training camp. So baptism by fire, I am a big fan of. Throw those young guys out and let them make plays. Another thing with Herbert last week, Lord, he knows how to spread the ball around, fellas. I mean, you see Eckler with 4 targets. You see Keenan Allen, he had 4. Everett had 4. He was dangerous, by the way. DeAndre Carter had 4 targets. Trey McKitty had 4. Joshua Palmer had 4. And then you had a number of guys who had 2. So everybody's going to have to be their A game. There's no wide receiver 1 for the Chargers as well as the Chiefs. But I believe in the young guys. I do.
Mike Williams is a Chiefs killer, so
he is.
He's their number 1.
Him way more than Keenan Allen.
And I think that it comes down for this game. It comes down to what allowed the Chargers to take care of business last week. Is turnovers. If you remember last year when we lost in Arrowhead, we had a turnover on a no-look pass. Clyde had the fumble when we were driving in the red zone. So I think it's going to come down to which team can make the other team make those mistakes and then taking advantage of them. Like Derek Carr had 3 interceptions that led to points for the Chargers. So I think that if Pat can be efficient, they can protect the ball. We can't have Juju fumbling the ball and things like that. Like if we can protect the ball and make the Chargers turn the ball over, which, the Chiefs defense wasn't able to do in Arizona, I think that that's going to be the advantage on who wins or lose tomorrow. And I think with the ruckus crowd, with the Chiefs pass rush, who was top 3 when it came to pressures last week in the NFL, I think that's going to give the Chiefs that advantage and allow them to get a turnover or 2, which will push them, ahead for a victory tomorrow.
Guys, I don't like
from Kevin Capel. How long is McDuffie out? Hope he isn't a frail player. We talked about that. He's out at least 4 weeks on IR, and then they can elevate him, bring him back if he's ready. It's just a hamstring. I really didn't expect him to go on IR with this. It must be severe enough that they can place him on IR and designate him to return. Hopefully he is back in that 4 weeks and ready to go. But like you guys talked about, we need to see more out of that pass rush. They got the pressures. We need to get home. We need to get Herbert off his spot. He's got some wheels, maybe not a Lamar Jackson, a Kyler Murray, a Josh Allen, but he still has wheels. He can get out and move. So we're going to have to see more out of the pass rush and hope Jalen Watson can hold up in the secondary.
Guys, I don't like to be too reactionary about 1 week of football, but Noah, I got a question for you. We were talking about this early. We've been talking about it all off season. What have we all looked at? And after this, I want to go back to Brian's predictions so we can pull those up. We didn't get them last week.
Oh, please.
Mine was 11-6 after 1 week. We talked about this brutal schedule, that just this unnavigatable schedule, these bridge over troubled waters that we are about to endure. After week 1, does this schedule look quite as difficult as it did 3 weeks ago, Noah? Because I'd say no, it does not. 49ers, Colts, Rams, Broncos, Raiders. Does the rest of the AFC West look like that this could be very similar to what we've just seen the last couple of years? Chargers are up there. Maybe we'll see Raiders just can't quite get it done, and Denver's still having problems. Noah, this schedule is not as difficult as it was 3 weeks ago.
No, I mean, it is week 1, so I kind of want to pump the brakes a little bit and not overreact and be like, okay, now we're talking just 14-3, here we come.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the Colts don't look as strong. I mean, you mentioned the Rams, the Bengals had a problem at long snapper. They probably should have won that game anyway, but they weren't impressive. All the interceptions by Joe Burrow, not on the same page. That offensive line, who they kind of got 4 new starters in there, that's going to take some time to come together. The Broncos, it was week 1. If there's a time that the Broncos aren't going to be together and on the same page and looking like they will later in the season, it's week 1 at Seattle. All the emotions for Russell Wilson coming up, being back in Seattle week 1. So I think they'll, I'm not going to say they're trash after week 1, but I don't think they're going to be as competitive and such this big foe that the Chiefs are going to have to get past in the AFC West. So they could be bringing up the rear. So you mentioned the Rams, the Niners, all these games. Trey Lance doesn't look like he's really, like, it is week 1, but he doesn't look like he's going to take that by storm and lead the Niners back to an NFC Championship game. So, yeah, this is looking a lot easier than it was just 1 week ago.
And with that, I want to go to Brian, because Brian was not here last year to get his season predictions in, so now's a good time to do it. Brian, you and I are both feeling the same. I had the Chiefs 11-6 as well, so I might have to ratify that. I'm a reactionary person, Brian. So take us through your picks here and see if you still kind of feel the same even after week 1.
Yeah, I do. I think you got the week 1 goggles on, Clint. And let me take those off of you real quick. So let's break it down. So Denver, look, special circumstances, fellas. You have Russell Wilson going back into Seattle. Can you imagine if Patrick Mahomes leaves us and wants to come back to Arrowhead to beat us, how we would be? Of course, they were going to boo him, and there was going to be some extra juice in Seattle. I picked Seattle to win Sunday, by the way, in my personal picks or whatever. But anywho, with that being said, I'm just trying to take the week 1 goggles off of you real quick. And this schedule is still difficult, fellas. It's still as difficult as we thought going in. The Bengals and Pittsburgh game, look, 4 interceptions for Herbert. Yes, he didn't look good. But come on, man, their long snapper was out. And if the long snapper's there, the Bengals win that game. And the Steelers couldn't move the ball at all. Trubisky is who he is. So with that being said, fellas, Baltimore, they look good. You wanted them to beat the Jets a little bit more, but still, how about Lamar Jackson coming up and throwing that deep ball the way he was looking? He was looking mighty well.
I think it was wide open, but anyway.
But he could have missed it. He could have been Matt Castle.
He could have missed it.
But look around, fellas. The Bills. You telling me the Bills didn't look good last Thursday night? The Chargers look good, even though it was a little closer than you want with the Raiders. But with that being said, I think that the schedule still holds tight, and the Chiefs still have a couple of bumps in the road in that tough schedule and finish 11-6. I don't think anybody's going to have more, including the Bills. I don't think anybody's going to have more than 11 wins. Maybe the Bills squeeze out 12, but man, I think we're all going to beat each other up, to be honest with you.
Well, we also have dealt with some trolls on our Twitter this week. We've talked about that, people coming in, and everybody deals with trolls. They're just out there. That's what they do. They don't have anything else to focus their energy on, so they've got to try and hate on people. I'm not going to say this guy's a troll, but we have a Blue Invasion, a Colts fan coming in here saying we're all taking an L in week 3 against the Colts. Let's go.
Did he not watch their game?
Yeah,
Matt Ryan looks like a shell of himself. If you can't beat the Texans, you playing against the Chiefs, and we pretty much going to have a bye after playing the Thursday game. Good luck, Colts fans.
Yeah, Mykell, buddy. Yeah, that's I'd like to put myself back in that mode of like being just a team that's been irrelevant for so long and then just making wild predictions just for the heck of it. Like, oh yeah, the Chiefs just, in 2014 opened the season with a loss to the Titans. Yeah, we went to Denver the next week. Of course, we're just going to go beat the Broncos in week 2. I wish I could put myself back in that mode. I'm glad I don't have to, because the Chiefs are the gold standard in the AFC, something the Colts haven't been in a long time. But good luck to the Colts in that game. Maybe one of these years they'll have a journeyman quarterback come in and work out. I don't know. It's the curse of Andrew Luck. Right now, we can't help you. I'm sorry.
Hey, Michael Pittman was balling.
Yeah,
he was balling.
He's for real. And I want to get into this. I mean, we differ on this. There's so many differing opinions right here on our very own show, Arrowhead Allies, about this.
Yeah.
Mahomes said he owes Mykell 2 touchdowns. Book it. I don't know, guy. I'm kind of done with Mykell Hardman. I know you say there's spots, there's gadgets. Him and Mahomes are not on the same page. Mahomes is more on the same page with guys who just got here than your number 4 starting out Mykell Hardman. I'm not blaming Mykell totally, although I am. They just can't get on the same page, and I'm just kind of done with it. At the end of this year, it's time to move on. I'm sorry.
I think that will happen, Noah. I think he is going to be gone. I think Mykell is trying to show that he wants to be a part of the team. He wore a Patrick Mahomes T-shirt that had pictures of him all on his T-shirt of a high schooler in college. So I think Mykell is trying, but I think that the writing's on the wall. The Chiefs don't protect Justin Ross on injured reserve, and they got to address Juju Smith-Schuster, who's only on a 1-year deal. So there's a whole list of, I think, other things will happen. This is Mykell Hardman's year to make money somewhere else, or at least make it hard for Brett Veach not to franchise him or give him his extension. So Mykell Hardman, he does have to step up. He might have to dive for a couple of passes that are just out of reach, just to show that he wants the money. He just dive. I mean, he is awesome on sweeps, but we all know, the world knows. I think even people that are outside of Chiefs Kingdom know that Brett Veach is going to have to make a decision between Juju Smith-Schuster and Mykell Hardman, and I think we all know it's going to be Juju. That's just my opinion.
He's also a former second-round pick that should be DK Metcalf, and we're talking about – and Brian's sitting here talking about, I like the way we use Mykell Hardman with jet sweeps and these little gadget plays. Like, we have a second-round pick in there right now that looks fluid, that looks like he knows what he's doing, that looks like he knows where he's supposed to be on the field, and Sky Moore. Mykell Hardman is the opposite of that. He doesn't look like he knows where he's supposed to be. In fact, I talked to one of the Chiefs trainers, Steve Glover, in the offseason, and he flat out told me, this is probably not for public consumption. I don't care. It's Arrowhead Allies. I'm putting it out there. That he doesn't put in the work, that football is not for him. That was his quote. This football thing is not really for Mykell, meaning he's a talented player, but just doesn't come in to put in the work, doesn't put in the route running and all the extra effort that it's going to take. Brian, I'm sorry. I agree with Noah. I'm done with it.
Yeah, look, I get it. I understand where you guys are coming from, and I totally get it. But we have Mykell, and he is who he is. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not going to have the route tree down. He's not. So we have to use him. To me, this is my philosophy. Use him at his best, which is the gadget plays, the sweet plays. And yeah, Noah, I was pissed off too that Mykell missed a touchdown on Sunday. I when you went on your diatribe about Mykell, that popped in my mind. I forgot about it. But other than that, with the sweeps and jet sweeps and all of that type of stuff, and putting them in the slot and running the short routes, I like Mykell in that era. And yes, Mykell is not going to be here next year. To me, it's a 95% sure thing, for the simple fact that it's a wide receiver factory going on in college football. You can get your 3rd round pick that can, that does what Mykell does.
Money has changed.
Yeah, and the market is too big. He's going to command some dollars, fellas. If Christian Kirk can get $64 million, Mykell Hardman can at least get 50 or something. So he's going to price himself out. And Shane, you're right. You hit it on the head. It's a perfect opportunity for him to make money somewhere else, because I don't think it's any way that the Chiefs bring him back.
I really like Mykell, what he can bring, because he has something that you can't teach, and that's speed. And that the type of speed that he has,
it doesn't translate.
He's like in basketball.
I disagree. It does translate.
What? Straight line speed? He has straight line speed. He's not shifty. He doesn't have moves. He doesn't get open. What about the speed do we really like?
But you got to think about it. It's like having a shooter on the court playing basketball. Like, you have to know where that guy is at all times. Mykell is the same way. Like, you can't just switch out on him with the linebacker or a terrible corner with no safety help because he can burn you. So even when they didn't complete the pass to Mykell, it still had the Cardinals like, hey, we still have to be ready for it because it can happen at any moment. And I think that his speed is key. He's going to have bigger games. Luckily he got a easy 1-yard touchdown.
It wasn't that easy, honestly. It was a good catch.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to hold on to that, so that was impressive.
Yeah,
Clint, look, Clint. I get it, bro. I think your expectations are too big for him. And the part
why? Because he should be DK Metcalf.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yes, they are.
That's exactly
because DK Metcalf should be here and not Mykell Hardman.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going, Clint. And that's why your expectations are too high. We just got to come to the realization that look, it was a panic pick.
Yes.
Tyreek was in trouble,
and you're right.
And it was a panic pick. It is what it is. So
you're right.
Use him at his best while we have him.
And they are. And
are we ready to elevate Sky Moore above Mykell? Can we do that? McColl
yes.
For his gadget plays, but our number 3 receiver, it goes Juju, MVS, and then Sky.
I love Sky Moore.
I love Sky, but we got Mykell's speed is top notch, guys, and I think that defenses know
so
this.
was John Capels. He was a former track guy who was a Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver. That didn't quite pan out for the Chiefs. Straight line speed. He's faster than Mykell Hardman. Maybe he might argue faster than Tyreek Hill.
He's coming off the best year of his career. He's on Twitter to communicating and talking with the fans. Like, we gotta give him a shot, man.
Mykell is a nice guy, maybe the nicest guy Clint and I have ever met. We love Mykell the person. This is not an attack against his character, who he is as a person.
Oh my gosh, no.
I swear I've never met a nicer person, but
yeah, I agree.
On the field, we're having a disconnect, and we're just talking about the disconnect on the field. That's all.
Okay.
Four years of it. Yeah, it's time. But you know what? Like Brian said, he's here. They're going to use him. He's going to be a part of the offense. So that's just another toy and another piece. So if Mykell Hardman wants to just defy all my wild expectations and have a breakout season, he's welcome to do it. And I hope he does. I cheer for him. Like Noah said, we've met him at the Super Bowl, guys. Super Bowl Radio Row. Mykell Hardman comes up to us, sits down at our table, tries to hop on and do a quick interview, and his handlers are like whisking him away. Like, no, we gotta go do Pat McAfee show, guys.
They probably heard our takes on him and like, you don't want to sit down with those two guys. You got to get.
So it's a topic that we'll see as it goes on. It'll be ever evolving, and I'm not dug in. I like to have my mind change. And Mykell had a great second half of the season. Well, last quarter of the season last year into the playoffs. So. Maybe it's just the freshness in your mind of those two missed plays. And one of them was really an overthrow that isn't going to probably get completed unless it's a fantastic play. But the first one, it's like we got to extend. We got to do something. I see it's players all over the place making diving catches, big time plays, and we got to get that. This is Mykell's year. He's got to do it. We got to have something.
Diving catch is good enough for Snoop Minnis diving into the end zone.
Don't compare Mykell to Snoop Minnis. Come on now.
I love Snoop Minnis.
That's all I asked. Time for the ball.
Hey, was that first Mykell catch? Was that the play where it was like two guys in the same area?
Yeah, Jody Fortson was coming up and Mykell was coming across. Yeah,
I think he was kind of thinking like, I think he might have saw that in the corner of his eye and was like, kind of slowed up. But we're gonna see. Hey, damn it, that's our X factor for this Thursday. Mykell Hardman is going to make Clint and Noah say, "I am here and I am here to stay." Look out for Mykell Hardman.
And James Kelly is such a Mykell fan that he says we all sound like goofy sports announcers, or Noah and I, and I guess Shane, all of us that are not quite.
Kevin Durant has burner accounts. I think James Kelly is Mykell Hardman's YouTube burner account, and he's coming in here defending himself.
I get it.
We appreciate you watching, James Kelly, and shouts to Royal Roofing and Solar.
Oh my gosh, right? Guys, before we get out of here, we got to get our predictions for this because it's Thursday night. It's a quick turnaround. It's Thursday night football at Arrowhead Stadium. I imagine emotions are going to be high. There's something about when we turn the lights on out there that just gets my blood boiling, and I know that goes for you guys too. Mykell, wish you were out here, man. Wish we could export you and the Chargers here to Kansas City, but getting this predictions in. Noah, I want to start with you. This is going to be a tight one. I know you've got it tight. You've flirted with picking the Chargers all week long. What's it going to be?
I have flirted with it because of the Trent McDuffie injury. I'm not sure if we can really rely on Jalen Watson that much, but I don't think that's going to be as big a factor. I like what I've seen out of him, even in the Cardinals game. Gave up a couple passes. He's right there. He's not being picked on. He's got good coverage. So I don't think that's going to be as big of a factor, especially with Keenan Allen out. Now, if Keenan Allen was playing, then maybe it could be a bigger factor. But I got the Chiefs squeaking out one 31-30 at home. Brian mentioned the old end zones, the crowd, the first game at Arrowhead of the season. So I think this is going to be a big motivating factor for the Chiefs and this fan base and Chiefs Kingdom as a whole. So I think we squeak it out 31-30. We start the season off 2-0. What do you say, Mykell?
Man, I think that the Chiefs deliver a knockout punch similar to Le'Veon Bell against Adrian Peterson. And the Chiefs take care of business 28-24. I think the pass rush, that nickel defense that they're playing, leaving Bolton and Gay on the field is going to help not only against the pass, but also against them trying to run. If you remember last year, they were able to run against as well. I think it doesn't happen. 28-24, Chiefs protect Arrowhead, baby.
Shaggy Shane, we got to get your prediction. And by these new end zones, do we mean the red end zones from 93-94 or the gold ones from the 19 playoffs?
I think from what I hear from rumors, it's going to be the red ones since when they opened the season up in 72, they used the red ones. The Chargers run a lot of only three-man rush. They did that quite a bit against Derek Carr Sunday, and that's what Cincinnati was good against Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. How will Patrick Mahomes do with the Chargers only rushing three if they do on the majority of the Chargers defensive snaps? He's got to keep hitting Clyde out of the backfield. He's got to keep going underneath. Patrick Mahomes is going to actually have to show the world, hey, if you want to only rush three, I will nickel and dime you to death. I have learned from my mistakes at the AFC Championship game. I like the Chiefs victorious in this. I'm kind of with Noah, but I like the Chiefs 35-34. They'll score the winning touchdown with 17 seconds left, and Nick Amendola will kick the game-winning extra point.
Brian, Brian, make this better for me. Make this prediction so that I'm not going to wind up dead by Thursday night at 10:30 p.m.
Oh man! So just to confirm, the end zones it won't be Marty Schottenheimer red. It'll be Hank Stram red, since he was the first coach in 72 to coach the Chiefs at Arrowhead. But it'll be the lowercase Chiefs woodmark and not the Chiefs woodmark as we know it now. You know, okay.
I like it.
I'm a stickler on I love the fields. I love the artwork on the fields and all that type of stuff. But anywho, with that being said, I got the Chiefs winning. It's Thursday night, the first Thursday prime Amazon game. Andy Reid is going to have these guys up. He's going to have them raging in the locker room. Patrick is going to be ready to go with the new end zones. Come on, man. I'm taking the Chiefs 33-23. I think the Chargers get a lot of field goals. I think we get a couple of those too. You'll see some wacky plays probably, but it's a weird score for a reason because I think there's going to be a lot of things going on that night. 33-23, Chiefs win.
And maybe, guys, I love it. Maybe, guys, I'm just trying to protect myself from a game that comes down to the wire similar to the last couple years. But all of a sudden, I'm getting flashbacks to 2020 going on the road. I think that was Sunday Night Football. Maybe it was Monday night. Chiefs at Ravens. The Chiefs were supposed to go in there. This is supposed to be Lamar Jackson's coming out party. The Ravens are for real. They're going to finally get the Chiefs. The Chiefs went in there and rolled 34-20. I think this game, the Chiefs make a statement. It's a knockout blow. Yes, Mykell, like Le'Veon Bell and Adrian Peterson. I think it's going to be something like 37-27. The Chiefs come out with a 10-point win, make a statement. And talk about overreaction Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's going to be the scary part because after that, it's going to be all guns a-blazing. Chiefs are the best team in football. And then how do the Chiefs respond from that?
I don't want that.
That's going to be how it responds. So
I want Petty Patrick. I want him saying 4 touchdowns and showing it on camera. I want him doing the 10 on camera like he did in Chicago against Trubisky. I'm the 10th pick. Really, you picked this guy ahead of me?
I love it.
I want Petty Patrick Mahomes. I'll keep picking the Bills. Please keep picking them to win a Super Bowl.
Keep putting me 8th in the PFF.
Please.
Yeah.
By the way, PFF had Nathaniel Hackett, the number 1 rated head coach, and Andy Reid was probably 8th in PFF head coaching rankings.
Guys, I think we're ready for this. I think we're ready to do this. We got 2 days to make it happen. Thank you so much for being a part of Arrowhead Allies. You know the Allies. It's Noah Groniger. I'm Clint Schweitzer, Shaggy Shane Williams, Mykell Matthew, the Money Badger from Hollywood, California, Brian Bushine and Brian Brooks. My man is back in the fold, and we're going to take you all season long on this odyssey that we call Arrowhead Allies. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. We'll see you guys Thursday night. Enjoy the game and enjoy what is hopefully a big time statement from these Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Right.